Hey folks, this is Foggy Broom. I am coming to you on day 7 of my ill-advised and stupid journey through the solo board game realm. And I've got a little bit of a different setup. I've switched cameras because I've noticed as I was doing the first bunch of videos that this was always really blurry. So it wasn't always possible to read the cards. So I swapped out the two cameras that I have, so now I'm blurry, which is probably for the best. Also cleaned up the camera because I noticed it was pretty dirty. I expect that I'm going to be learning a lot about streaming and video production over the course of the year, so this is also part of why I'm doing this. It's not just because I'm masochistic and thought, let's just do every single video game out there. One thing I don't know is whether or not this is going to have that same focus problem that the 920 has. This is a 922 up here, Logitech 922. That's this one right here. That's a Logitech 920. And it does appear that we don't have to worry about focus, which is great. So awesome. I can't tell if it's blurry or not. That's my biggest concern. I won't know until I'm actually producing the videos. And we've got the next one in the Tiny Epic Quest series that I have, and that is going to be Tiny Epic Quest by Scott Almes, who also designed Zombies, who also designed Galaxies, and who also designed Food Chain Island, the first game in the series. This is, of the three that I have, I enjoy this game. This is probably the one I enjoy the least. It's also the one with the most setup. So at some point during this video setup, you're going to see me adjust the camera settings so that I get everything in here, because I'm not actually sure if I can get everything. I know roughly that's the upper limit. This is the bottom limit. That should be enough for everything, I think. Yeah, it's got a bigger footprint than some of the other games. But let's go ahead and open this up. Like Galaxies has a little dice thing in here. This is Dice Grotto, which is kind of interesting. Rule book. A number of tokens. We've got little health markers. Dice. We've got our little meeples here. We've got all sorts of little indicators. And we have our Tiny Epic Quest cards. These, I think, are just simply adventure versus rest cards for each of the players. These are your travel cards. In the solo mode, you're going to basically be doing 4 of these as opposed to 5, and you'll get to choose one of 2 each turn, which is kind of a neat way to do it. We've got a bunch of quests here. If I remember correctly, I think that's everything here. Yeah, I think these are all kind of intended to be the same thing. They're all quests. Things that you do, the rewards that you get, yada yada. All right, we've got our magic track here. We've got a little player thing. Each one of these is a little bit different, by the way. You don't necessarily, just picking the green player doesn't mean that you get the same thing as you did if you did the yellow player. Basically, the way that they differ is the types of quest things, the regions that you do your quests on, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I've played this, so there will be some trying to remember how exactly to do this. Then you've got your lovely little land here, all sorts of fun territories for that. And then I think these are also, there's a darker side to this. There's a tougher version of this. We're going to be playing on the easier version, because apparently that's the only thing I know how to do is play the easy version of things. Finally, we have our little quest tracker there. And that's, I think, it. And then we have a lovely little pastoral scene of people going out and doing quests. We're going to put that off to the side. We'll put things in it as we need it. Finally, the last thing that's really neat is that you have a little item rack that you can set up, and it's got all the different items that you can get via quests. So, for example, your shovel here, you got a book, a boomerang, crossbow. Normally, there's a little thing that you can use to help stand it up. I think if I remember right, this goes in like this, and then this goes in like this. So this game has a little bit more of a tactile feel, and then you set it up like that, and that can be off to the side. Now, because I'm doing an overhead shot of this, I'm actually not going to use these pieces, and we're going to just simply have that available to us. All right, let me make sure I go through setup correctly here. And we are going to go ahead and play green, because I love the color green. In fact, I'm wearing green today, as you can see. By the way, one of the things I'm going to get for the stream is a little panda hat. It's going to go over my head, and then that way you won't have to look at this shiny, shiny bald head anymore. And I'm sure you will all be glad about that. Oh, that's nice. Little background illustrations, and they're all exactly the same, except just different color on the cape. So we're going to do a solo version. We're going to pick this as our player. Then Magic and Quest, those are trackers. So let me just go ahead and make sure that I've got the correct thing here. Now, for the way to set up the kingdom is that I believe you start with take the regular map cards, and we have to separate out the castle cards, which there should be. Oh, there's the green castle. That's the green castle one. That's the red castle. That's the yellow castle, and that's the blue castle. There we go. So these are the regular map cards. You shuffle them up. Let's go ahead and get this space cleared out here so we can start putting things into an array. Go ahead and shuffle. I need to really remember to extend my arms when shuffling. Is that the... That's the focus thing that I was worried about at the beginning of this. I'm a little concerned. All right, so we're going to leave a little bit of space here for the outer edge. So that'll be where the top card goes. We want to go one below that. And we're going to arrange 5 cards into a cross. And you want to try to maximize your space as much as possible. This is, like I said, it's a heavy footprint game. So we're going to have to move this up just a little bit. All right, now the 4 castles will complete the square that's defined by this cross. So you'll end up with a little 3x3 thing. And that's blue, yellow, green, and red. Get this out of the way. And then you're going to take the remaining 8 ones and you're going to make sort of a little pinwheel shape. Basically, you want to ignore the right-hand corners of these as you put them out. So I'll do one there. I'm going to set this up and then figure out how far out I have to zoom or shrink the screen to make sure that you can see everything. Because again, huge footprint for a tiny game. These two will go here. Is that right? No, these two will go here. All right. So that is the setup of the setup of this. Let me just make sure. I'm going to go through this as best I can according to the rule book, so that we are actually okay. So first player token is not needed. That's the Q token here, which was done well before QAnon became a thing. Let's see, we're going to need the magic tracker. We're going to need a round tracker as well. And what we're going to do is we're going to set the round tracker here. We're going to set the magic tracker here. Give myself as much space as possible. The magic tracker has both a 1 and a 2 side. So that's the 2 to 4 side. This is the 1 side. That'll go there. The round tracker is this little elf-looking thing. And that will go on the 1, or we'll put it right here, actually. And we'll advance it as needed. And then the mushroom thing, I believe, goes on the first. Where does the mushroom tracker? The mushroom tracker goes where the mushroom tracker little icon is, which is all the way over here. I'm wondering if that magic tracker should actually be closer to me, because that is going to be difficult for me to reach. Let's see. Then give each player. Let's go through this bit by bit. Give each player 1 player card. So we've got our player card. 3 heroes of their player's color. So we're going to be doing green. We're going to be using the green items. There are a bunch of meeples for each one. There's also one little butterfly in here as well that you have to grab. And we're done with those. Let's see. 1 health token, 1 max health marker. That is going to be these lovely little things here. I have big fingers. Big, meaty fingers. All right. And we're going to need also 1 power token and max power marker. And that's these little things here. There are 4 sets total because you can have 4 players. 1 adventure card with the adventure side face up. This, I think, is less useful for the solo version. I think this is just a way to track things as to who's resting, who's adventuring. 1 set of legendary items placed on the first left space of their corresponding tracks of the power cards. Now, in addition to all these lovely little items, there are a bunch of little swords and shields and things like that that you're intended to get over the course of the adventure. We're going to place the sword here, the shield here, and the staff here. And I might rearrange this all once I'm fully set up here, so that I have a better idea of where everything is. And if I remember correctly, these go here somewhere, but I'll figure that out in a moment. Place the magic card, blah, blah, blah. Place the player's spell tokens, matching their player colors. That's these things. Off to the left of this card near the spell library. So you're not actually starting it yet, but you are like a little bit off. So we'll put this right above it, I think, because that's where we have space. Take the round card on the table, and on the right-hand side of the card, place the round token on the number 1, designated the first of 5 rounds. So this will actually go from little castle here to the 1. Create the land map, which we've already done. Place the 3 heroes of each player on the map card with the castle matching the color of their player cards. So we've got a little, and I'm going to be doing these face up so that you can see them better. But the green one is over here, and so they go right here. Place goblin tokens passive green side up on each of the 7 goblin portals on the land map, aligning the diamond on the token with the diamond on the map card. Place unused goblin tokens in a stack where all players can reach them. So we'll take them all out of the bag, because you can end up having more of these added too. Let's see, goblin toad. All right, so there's 1. And again, we're going to put these on the passive side, green up. And so there's another. There's another. There's another. They are all sort of centrally located, or one region of the map, apparently. There's another. And finally, there's the other. There's the last one, right up here. We'll put the remaining tokens in a stack up above there. And basically the number of goblins you beat determines how much power you have. Overall. And then we're going to take the 5 movement cards. We're not going to do them as they say here, put them in a row, because what we're going to be doing each turn is we're going to be shuffling them. And then we're going to go ahead and deal 2 out, and we get to choose from those 2 movement cards what we want to do. So I'm going to just leave them in a stack over here for now. We'll use this as the area for the quest cards. So a fair amount of light on that. I do apologize. Alexa, set shed to 50%. It's probably not that much better. I think that actually makes things a little worse. Alexa, set shed to 100%. All right. The light will eventually deal with it. Again, learning all sorts of fun things as we go along here. Then we take the quest cards. These are the quest cards. We're going to shuffle them into a deck. Give them a good riffle shuffle, I think the name of it is. I can't wait to start getting comments, which will be like, hey, by the way, that's not a riffle shuffle. That's a Poindexter shuffle. You should really learn your shuffle terms. What you're doing right now is called a potato chip shuffle. And I'm making up the terms potato chip shuffle and Poindexter shuffle. So if there are things called a Poindexter shuffle and potato chip shuffle, keep it to yourself. No, just kidding. I am looking. I know YouTube comments can sometimes be rather toxic. I'm going to try to keep a pretty thick skin if anybody has any negative comments. But I am looking for constructive feedback. I think one of the things about solo gaming that's great is that you don't have to worry about other people. And each of these ends up feeling like a puzzle. But one of the drawbacks is that you don't ever get any feedback on how you're playing and what you could be doing differently and if you're making mistakes in the rules. And I think that this is going to be an interesting endeavor depending on how much interaction there is with people, with you, the viewer, and me, the player. By the way, this is day 7. I do want to give a quick shout out. Tomorrow is the release of Panda Magazine, issue 93. In addition to loving solo board games, I am also an avid puzzle writer, and I publish a puzzle magazine every 2 months. The next issue of that magazine goes out tomorrow. And I'll do a little promo for that when we do Tiny Epic Zombies as well. That website is www.pandamagazine.com, pretty much as it sounds, all one word. So we're going to take the cards, we're going to put them right here, we're going to deal out 3. Alright. And we've got some lovely quests here. We're going to get rid of the adventure card. I think, if I remember correctly, we don't really use it that much. Like, we do want to indicate that we are doing adventures and then rests, because those will matter. We'll do the... We'll do the dice, put those there. And we'll also go ahead and put the items up here where they're in reach, but not necessarily, and I'm going to try to avoid that as much as possible, because I think if I go for those... Nope, you don't see my head. You see my head up here, but you don't see it up here, so that's good. First player token, blah, blah, blah. By the way, the first player token in the multiplayer game goes to the person who's most recently done a scavenger hunt, which is kind of interesting. Choose a difficulty level. So what's interesting is, at the start of your game, you're going to choose one of 5 difficulty levels. You got Peasant, Page, Squire, Knight, and Hero of Legend. You have 5 points to get to that victory point total. So technically speaking, you don't really need to choose a difficulty level beforehand. It's not going to make any difference to the game overall. You're not going to play differently. It's not going to be set up differently. There's not going to be any different mechanics. You just simply pick whatever level you're shooting for, and if you beat it, then great, you win. We're going to go... We're not going to worry about that. We're just going to... If we get to... Let's say that it's a win if I get to Squire. That's the midpoint, and it's a loss if I get below Squire. I think that's fair. So 50. We are going to choose a point total. That's going to be 50. At the beginning of the day phase, you shuffle the 5 movement cards and randomly deal 2 face up. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And I'm hoping that you can see everything. I know it's... Also, I forgot to put these actually on. So if I remember correctly, you do... The max health goes on the little spot with the heart on it. It goes right above it, I'm sorry. And then the little arrow thing here goes directly above the spot that has the V on it. And these will be going up over the course of the game based on what you do in the game. So max power will go there and max health will go here. Okay. So now we're going to finally do the shuffle of the movement cards, and I'll explain how we're going to play the game itself, probably with a little bit of futzing because it has been a while. Just more by memory than anything else. So vertical on river, map card, 1 map card any direction. Now the way that movement works in this, we're going to put these a little bit off screen. The way that movement works in this is that you get to move your knight, or one of your people here, card by card. And if I remember correctly, and hopefully I'm not wrong on this, you're not worried about the individual quarters of each card as movement spaces. So this isn't, you wouldn't go 1, 2, 3, 4. You would move to a new card and then pick where you want to be on that card. So if I were to do the vertical on river thing, each of these, there's a vertical river on each of these. So I could move anywhere in this column to any spot on here, any spot on here, any spot on here. I can't simply go over here to learn that spell right there. Or I can't go there to do whatever. And I believe, if I remember correctly, these are all kind of set up so that they are, each pair of squares is a thing. So I can move here to learn the spider spell or whatever that is. I can move here to explore the forest temple. I can move here to take advantage of that. You're picking a left and a right. You're not really picking a quadrant. So in this case, I can move one map card in any direction, which are all of these cards right here. Or I could move on the raft, and I could move up and down. And I can see that the next one will be by horse. And by horse is along the horizontal roads in the kingdom. That'll be here. Probably should not have done that, because now I can see what the next one is, and I don't want to necessarily do that. There's also the other two movement cards are going to be by ship and by griffin. Griffin is diagonal along the diagonal path, so I can move from here to here, or here, or here. If I were here, I could go here, 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 here. The thing is, the diagonal movement does not give you a whole lot of choices, as you might think. Because of the nature of the map, there's no real long diagonal stretches anywhere. I think the longest diagonal stretch is a 3. And so no matter what, each of those diagonals is only going to give you 2 other options. So the by Griffin gives you 4, I think, maximum of 4. I think 3 or 4, always. Because I think even if you were like right here, I think you can't get less than... I think one of your diagonals has to be like 2 other options. Sorry, I'm not sure why I'm going on all of this. The horse option allows you to go horizontally, so that's going to be at most 4 other options, and in one case, it's just 1 option. Same with the raft card. The by foot card is going to give you anything in the surrounding area, so that'll be up to 6 cards, maybe 8. And then by ship is the most interesting one. The by ship one means that you're going to start on the coast here, and you're going to travel around. And that is kind of powerful, because that allows you to really get to a lot of different places throughout the map. Now, when you're moving, you'll notice that there are little green goblin icons, and what you'll need to do is every time you go past one, you aggravate it. And when you aggravate a goblin, I'm just going to make sure I've got the things here correct. When moving through a map card, not your starter destination, with an aggressive goblin at its portal. So right now, these are not aggressive. These are passive. If this were aggressive... See, it's all coming back to me now. If this were aggressive, I would have to spend a power point to go past it. If I were landing on here, I wouldn't have to spend a power point. I can move here, no power point. If I move here, 1 power point. And if it's passive, it just stays like that. And I forget what makes it unpassive. I think, as I recall, at the end of each round, I will have to make a certain number of goblins active instead of passive. You can also choose not to move, and then you can also choose to be at your castle. So we'll go ahead and get started here. Let's talk a little bit about what I need to do. I need to try to max my magic track. I need to complete quests. I need to advance my power token. And I need to defeat a certain number of goblins, and I'm trying to get up to 50 points, and that's going to be difficult because you can't really do that if you're on a lot of the yellows here. So I'll need to do something really powerful with the spells, I think. I'll need to complete a bunch of quests. Let's take a look and figure out... And then there's also something for the number of magic items that you end up with. These legendary items here as well as here. So to advance... And it's difficult to move these along in a timely manner. It really is. Like, you can easily fall behind. One thing I think that would help is if I go and complete the Desert Temple, because right now the Desert Temple, that will allow me to complete either of these cards, and as well as complete this. And I just want to make sure that I have that right. Okay, so I've made a slight change here. I've moved the spell tracker down here. I had to read up on that a little bit. And I'll be editing that out. But essentially, to learn spells, you have to advance the magic track. It has to be up to either here, if you want to learn a spell that's 1 higher, or all the way up to here if you want to learn 3 higher. And one of your heroes has to be on the obelisk for learning that spell. So, for example, this first star, this snake one, is going to be all the way over here. Scorpion one, I think, is all the way over here. So they're scattered about. And one other thing that I forgot to do. So when I dealt the quest cards, you'll notice that each of these has a temple on it. In your in your list of 3 quest cards, there has to be at least 1 movement card and 1 temple card out. You can't have just 3 temple cards. You can't actually win the game if you are just doing temples, because that will not work. So we're going to go ahead and discard that, and I'm going to send that flying. Wow. Crazy far. That'll be off to the side here. So now we've got a movement. Okay. And during the day phase, you'll be doing all this movement about. You'll be doing 4 movements total. You have 3 heroes. And part of the reason that you're doing that is that you want to try to maximize the number of movements. That you want to try to get at least 1 movement quest in, as well as a temple quest. So you have to think about what you're going to do to make that happen. Now in this case, I need 2 heroes in another player's castle, which kind of sucks. Because that means that one of my heroes would end up in a castle at the end of this, and that's not going to work. So I think my best bet is to still try to complete these. Now, during the night phase is when I'll complete it. I have to actually get all the way up here. So I still think I'm going to do well, because I'll be able to complete both of these at the same time. You can only complete 1 quest during daytime, but during nighttime you can complete multiple quests. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move one of my heroes. I'm going to use the... I can't get out here right yet. I also want to make sure I'm trying to learn spells. I'm going to try to shoot for one that's +2, which means the Scorpion one, which is also over here, so that does me no good. I could fight a goblin, and I can... move to this. I can use a goblin. I can use this to do the by foot thing or the raft thing. Could go here. That would be helpful. Conjure 2 mushroom. Advance the magic token 4 spaces, forward 2 spaces on the track. That would help, because that would automatically put me in a good situation to learn at least one spell here. And I'm not really going to go for the spider, because that would require me to get 3 beyond this space here, and that's a little on the dangerous side. Where is that one? The spider is all the way up here, so that's also in a very inconvenient place. So my 3 starting spells are here, here, and here, none of which are in a good place. What would be really nice is if I had some way to move... use the goblin powers, the grotto powers, to do something here. But I'm not seeing anything that's really going to be that helpful. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to move 1 to the grotto here. That will allow me to move one of my heroes up to 3 cards. And that means that I can move this one here. What I could also do is I could go ahead and just say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and get the movement thing. Yeah, let's try for that at least. Let's try for the movement one. So that will have been the raft one. I'm going to make the raft one that one. The reason is I want the by foot one to get me to that next spot over there. Horizontal on road. Actually, I'm going to do the... I think I messed that up. No, I'm fine. So now we're going to move this one by horse. That completes the movement quest. So we go ahead and pull that down. That is now completed. And we get to flip over another one. That is also not a movement quest. That is a temple 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 quest. That's a movement quest. Yay. All right. So by ship, means that you can move from any coast to any coast. You just simply can't land on the Central 5's properties here. So I do want to move. I can now actually go for this spell or this spell. I could also go for that spell. I can move both of these two. That'll get these two here. This person won't be doing anything. That's the bummer. But I don't think there's a way to get them to do anything, unfortunately. So I'm going to go for... I'm going to use the by foot to move one of these people to the learn the spell icon. We'll put them on there. And then we'll use the by ship to move this person to the temple. So now they're on the temple. And hopefully with the temple I'll clear a couple of quests there. Alright, so exciting stuff so far. Alright, so we don't want this on the track yet. Hopefully you can still see everything. I know this is really shiny up here, so my apologies about that. So now we are at nighttime, and technically this is where you would kick in your adventure card. You'd put your little adventure card out to indicate that that's what you're doing. And you're going to roll dice until you have satisfied an adventure. Or until you've wiped yourself out. Night phase. Alright. Exploring for items at temples, attacking goblins, learning spells, yada yada. You choose whether or not to adventure and rest, and then you roll the dice. So we're going to move these down here. So let's keep these up here. Sorry. Alright, so what we've got... Yeah, that's not going to work because I can't see anything in there. So what we've got a couple scroll icons, we've got a magic thing, we've got a power thing, and we've got a damage thing. Now, fortunately, on the damage thing, the first one is ignored when we're on this level of the magic track. So we are going to adventure through these. First is you deal with any damage you have. And I didn't get any damage on this one because that tells me to ignore it. Magic, on the other hand, will go up by 1, which is good. We do power first. I'm sorry. Power is next. We can't gain any power because we're at max power right now. And this should be swapped. Not sure why I didn't notice that before. And then I forget if power allows you to... What increases the number of power? Goblins. Health is goblins and power is spells. Basically wherever your butterfly is. So let's see. We're going to do the increase power magic by 1. We've done that already. And now we can do quests. We get 2 scrolls, which is nice. That means that this person will move up to here. And that's the end of the first turn. Now we can decide to rest if we want to. We're not going to do that. That would be stupid. Alright. So now first damage was ignored. I think, if I remember correctly, that it's on each dice roll. Yeah, so once again, it's only 1 damage, so that gets ignored. If I'm playing that wrong, I'm sure you will let me know. The rest of there's no power, there's no magic. The rest of these are resolutions. We get to move up 1 track because we have two of the scrolls, which is nice. These 2 don't do anything. So we're almost at the point where we have completed the temple. That'll be nice. So that'll give us a bunch of stuff to think about. All right. So once again, damage is ignored because there's only 1. I really am worried that I'm doing that wrong. All right. So, oh, and this should have come in like this. I'm sorry. So the new quests are always added from the left. So that should be like that. And I forgot to claim my quest. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to backtrack here a little bit. When you complete a quest, you get some sort of benefit from it. So, for example, with the temples, you get some sort of a device that you can equip. I forgot with the movement cards, you get to do things with them. And so what I should have done is I should have moved this to somewhere else. Because then I could have at least used those fire things. And I will go ahead and have... Oh, man, that's stupid. Magic will go up by 1. We don't have any power to do. We could... Yeah, we're not going to do that yet. We're going to go up by 1. And then the fight goblin doesn't really do anything. So now we're going to continue to adventure. Wow. Well, that would have been nice to be fighting a goblin against, but unfortunately those don't do any good. We do get to advance the magic token by 1. We need to get it all the way up to here, so we need 4 more magic tokens. We need 2 more sheets, and we need a bunch of torches, and that's what we got. Holy cow. So this is an interesting dilemma. So we're going to use the 2 scrolls, and we have now completed the desert temple. Yay. We've also got 2 torches. We're going to go ahead and move those torches up by 1. Because I've got 1 other torch here, I can't really move this one up by itself. I need 2 to advance to the next step. But I can use power, 2 power to go ahead and advance that by 1. So I will go ahead and do that. I will move this little power icon, which is defying my fingers, and move that there. And then that will allow me to move up 1 more space. So ideally, and then as far as completing the temple quest, if I remember correctly, they move immediately. It's when I rest. Okay. All right. Sorry. When I rest, that's when I get to move. We're at 46 minutes already. That's a long time to be on just the first round. All right. So once again, we've got a damage here, but that won't do anything. We've got 3 power, so we'll actually restore some of the power that we just used. Come on, stay in place. Once again, we have 1 scroll. We have 1 scroll, which won't do anything. We have 1 torch. And we'll go ahead and use 2 power to basically get this onto the last spot on the Shadow Temple. And that is another temple completed. And the reason that I'm doing that, I don't have any quests over here that will correspond to it, but the quest, this will actually move up by 1 too. All right, so we have no damage. We get 1 little magic icon. And the rest of these are irrelevant. We're basically looking for, ideally, damage icon. We want to get as few damage icons as possible, but we also want to get as many magic items as possible. So we need 3 more mushrooms to be able to do this. We can ignore that because it's... no, we can't ignore that anymore. We are now actually taking damage. We are getting 2 power, so that will allow us to move up. We can now use power to defend against goblin dice, so there's no reason to not continue to push our luck with this. Let's see, we get nothing in the way of damage. We also get nothing in the way of mushrooms. Who would have thought it'd be so hard to get mushrooms, huh? There we go, there's a mushroom. So we don't have any damage that we take. We can't gain any power. We do gain 1 more mushroom. We are getting there. Oh, and I forgot that the first... okay, so on this... so there's a bunch of like little icons down here that matter. Down here, according to this, the first power icon does not get used. The second power does. So I probably should be 1 lower on the power thing. And then once you get up to 2 and 3, it gets really dangerous because you can't increase your power anymore. So you'll get nothing to reprieve. We still need 2 more mushrooms. Ideally with as less damage as possible. Alright, so no damage, but we did get 2 more mushrooms. That puts us into 2. We can now learn the Scorpion spell. Now we will go ahead and call it a night. So, we're at the night phase. We are finished the night phase, and we are going to rest. One of the reasons that this is one of my less favorite games is that this does take a very long time to play through a single game. Alright, so... day actions, resolution... so we move the magic token back to the first place. Actually... First, all players should have already resolved their heroes when they rested. See resting. This includes collecting defeated goblin tokens, learning spells, and completing temples. So, after learning a spell, I believe that we take... Hero must be on the obelisk. I'm actually not sure if the hero has to go back to the castle at that point. Nope, they do. They do. My bad. All right, so this person will return to the castle. They have learned the scorpion spell, so we are now here. In addition, that will raise our power level, maximum power level, to 5. Doesn't increase our actual power. We just go back up to 5. And then we are at the maximum desert thing. And we complete both of these quests, as far as I can tell. And we can equip the cane and the tome. Now, when you're equipping weapons, you have to have some spot on your heroes that you can actually equip the weapon to. And that will matter based on... these are sometimes really difficult to get out. So let's see. This will allow the equipped hero to learn one spell level higher than which is granted by the magic track. So this will actually allow me to really ramp up my spell learning, which is a plus. So we'll give that to that hero. And that's the hero that I want to make sure that I put on... sorry, it's this book one. That's the one I want to make sure always ends up on a spell thing. This one can now always move by foot. So no matter what I think it's still 4 movement icons overall. But you can always move by foot with that one. So that's a plus. So these are completed quests. These will go down here. I think for the completed quests, I'm just going to keep them off to the side. I'm not going to do this whole slide them under the card thing. That goes back there. In addition to completing the Desert Temple quests, we get to move this up by 1. We also get to move this one up by 1. And then we refresh the quests. We're going to get 2 new ones. Water Temple and another movement one. So now we have to complete a Water Temple one if we want to get this quest. But we have 2 movements, and we can get one of these 2 movements in here. And what would be nice is this one would allow me to move my spell token up by 1, so that would really help out with the spells. Let's take a look at what we've got here for round 2. So we move this up to 2. We now get to start moving again. This guy should be back here. All right, so we can complete an ice or water. Ice will give us our staff. Water would just simply allow us to complete a quest. And the water ones are here, and I think there's just one of them, I think. There's this one over here. And then the ice one is over here. So both of them are going to be a little on the difficult side to get to. I think we can use a ship to get to that one. We also want to have 3 heroes on map cards that create this formation. None may be in the castle. So this is basically based on where the movements are that you've already got. That's going to be tricky. And then this one is all 3 heroes on temples. Now I want at least 1 hero on an obelisk before we actually wrap up. So the next spell level that I can shoot for, I think Lion is probably my best bet. Lion is going to be here. I think that's the line. That's up there. So Lion's here. Ice is here. Water's here. I need to start fighting some goblins. That's the last thing I'm forgetting to do. I need to flip 3 goblins. I'm going to flip these 3 because they're the hardest ones to actually pass through. You can't really pass through them, I mean. You're not going to pass through them someplace else. You will if you're by ship. All right. So we're going to deal 2 of these out. We're going to get a raft and a horse. We got by foot next. All right, so what do we want to do here? We want to get... We can go for the fire. We can go for the ice. We can go for the water. Those 3 we could do. If we do any of those, we'll actually increase our... This health... Yeah, that should be there. And I don't know if I take advantage of that when I'm on the castle. Oh yeah, heroes that return to the castle get 1 heart or 1 power. So we're going to move this up by 2 here and 1 here. So all 3 return to the castle, so we get 3. That's my bad. Again, it's been a while since I've played this, so it's a lot of like little learning stuff. This would be great, except it's just not. It's not awesome. I think I want to be on temples. I think I want to try to get to 1, 2, and 3 in terms of temples. And unfortunately, none of them are on straight lines, so that's going to suck too. If I went for the dolphin would be insane. That I'd have to get all the way up to 3 for that. Where is the dolphin spell? Dolphin is over here on the ice, so that doesn't do me any good either. If I went for the bunny rabbit, which would be the easiest one to get, bunny rabbit is on the square that I'm already at, so I don't really want to go for that one. I could also attack some goblins. We've got a bunch of goblins here. We could start to fight them. It would help because it would increase our health, and it's also one of the things that affects this over here. We're going to have to defeat some if we want to actually get anywhere. So if I did this, if I got Goblin Temple, this would allow me to move up by 1 there and get that. That's actually what I'm going to do, I think. We cannot learn that spell. That's not going to do me any good at all. But if I get to here, then I might be able to move to the lion or the dolphin. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Let's move vertical on river for 1. We're going to go ahead and move the person who doesn't have anything. We're going to have a by foot and by horse. We'll use the by horse because I think we're going to need that later. No. Move him by foot now to the grotto. And then move him to the diagonal. I think that might not have been the best idea. That was by foot because we could use that for by foot. Yeah, we'll be fine. So now we got by foot and by ship. We will go ahead and then move this person by foot here. That will allow me to activate that grotto, and I'll continue to ramp up in power. I can't go much more than that. And then by griffin, and again, it doesn't really matter at this point. I can go diagonally to here, where I will attempt to learn. I cannot learn the wolf spell. I'm going to have to go for the ice thing. And there we go. So now, all those are done. So now I do actually complete this quest, where I need to have that in that formation. I advance the spell token by 1, so that's a good thing. We'll replace that quest. And we actually get an ice quest. Yay! Cool. All right. Awesome. All right, so now we are... Oh, crud. I needed to be here so that I could... Otherwise, my power is down by 1. All right, well, that was a mistake on my part. Oh, no, wait. All right, I'm going to back up here for a moment. This person moved by foot. This person could move to the attack goblin. This person then went... That's still valid based on the moves that I had. Sorry. So now I have 2 things attacking goblins. I have 1 thing trying to complete a quest for the Ice Temple. I am not worried about magic other than the deleterious effects that having a lot of magic will have. And so we're going to start off with damage. I don't take the first bit of damage because we're still on the lowest end of the magic track. These scrolls don't do... I keep saying scrolls. Those don't do anything though. So we're going to advance by 1 here for the torch. And we're going to do 1 damage. And I think when we do damage to goblins, we have to pick which goblin we're damaging. Yeah. So we then turn it this way. And when we finally turn it so that the diamond is on the top, that's when we have defeated the goblin. This time, we ignore the first bit of damage, but we do take 1 damage from... From the next one. We don't do anything with the power. We could have actually used the power to block a damage, so we'll have done that instead. The first bit, first damage that I took, we should have used a power to block it, because that is... Oh, spend 2. So, sorry, that's down there now. We'll take that second power and move it back up by 1. So, there we go. And then we get 1 more torch. We move up like that. I have to be careful, because at a certain point, we no longer get new power. Still not too bad. We haven't had a whole lot of mushrooms, but this is the first one. We don't do anything with the... Oh, we do actually move up with the torches, so we're almost at that point. And then we can use 2 more hits on this goblin here. So it advances like that. So we're going to advance. We get to ignore the first one of these. We have no power to work with. We will go up 1 more on the magic track. It is tempting to go ahead and use the 2 more power for the torch so that we can get that last spot. But what I'm betting on is that the amount of damage that I need to do to these goblins will require me to roll enough dice that I will get that last track. So I will go ahead and ignore that torch for now. We'll do 1 more bit of damage, and we've at least got 1 of our goblins almost defeated. Alright, so again, we ignore the first bit of damage. We get to take 2 power this time, which means we're doing okay. We have 1 torch, which again is not enough. I am going to go ahead and use 2 power, though. I'm going to change my mind here. I'm just going to go ahead and knock that out so that it's done. And then the goblin is defeated, and I think if you defeat a goblin in the night phase, I do not know if you automatically... Alright, so as you continue to damage the goblin token, rotate until the diamond on the map is completely on the map card points to the skull. Goblin is defeated. Collect the goblin token immediately. Collect next to your player card. And then for each goblin token collected, your maximum health threshold is increased by 1. Not the health, maximum health. There we go. So right now we're at max health 5 and max power 5, max health 7. Now there's nothing that's really going to help heal anything during this, so that's I think why they let you move the max thing up automatically. But we're now at the point where we are looking at 1 damage is ignored. We're going to use 2 power to block the other bit of damage. We're going to go ahead and use 1 power back to put us back at 2. At this point, we have completed the temple. We've defeated 1 of the goblins. We are focusing on this goblin now. We need a bunch more attacks. Let's see. We have 1 damage that we ignore, 1 power that we restore, 1 mushroom that we go up, which if we get 1 more mushroom, we're going to start dealing with more crap. And then the other things we just ignore. Need green attack goblin icons. That does not do us much good. We're going to get 1 damage that we ignore. We're going to go ahead and take this other damage. I think we have to start just accepting that that is going to happen. Because now we're actually in this next level. We ignore the torch and we get 1 damage to the goblin. We are hoping for a bunch more damage to that goblin before we because I'm exhausted. Let's see. We have 1 damage that we cannot ignore. We have 2 more power, and in this case, the first power is ignored, but we do go up by 1 in terms of power, so we're bound 4 for that. Magic goes up by 1, and we ignore the torch. Really need a bunch of green icons. Alright, so first power is ignored. Health is going to go up by, magic's going to go up by 1. We do get 2 punches, and we ignore the scroll. We need 2 more punches on that goblin. We get 1 damage that we cannot ignore. Power is still on 4 here. We ignore the first power. We gain 1 power. We're at max power now. And we get 1 more goblin punch. And so we need 1 more goblin punch to win. And we did it. Let's go through this bit by bit. We're going to gain 1 power. We can't gain 1 power. We're going to gain 2 mushroom. It's going to put us right there. And we gain 1 more power. We collect the goblin. Immediately, our health goes up by 1. And we get to return these folks all back to the castle. We get to gain 3 for each, and I'll gain it all in health because that's what I need. And so that wasn't too bad. We also completed this temple. So we now have a scepter, and we're going to go ahead and give the scepter to the same person who has the book. That's going to be our magic user. This means that during the night, the equipped hero conjures 1 mushroom for every power spent. And then in addition to that, we've also completed the ice temple, and we get the flute. The flute is this lovely little thing here. And instead of moving normally, the equipped hero may move diagonally. We're going to give that to this person because they don't have anything yet. They are so sad. All right, we've completed that quest. We replace this, and then this slides off. The right-hand one slides off, so we have that. So now we have 2 more movement quests. We have a water temple quest, and we are on day 3. We play 5 days total. This is going a very long time. This is over an hour now, minus the part that I have to edit out. All right, all 3 heroes can be on separate map cards on the coast, but none in your castle. Have 1 hero on a temple, 1 on an obelisk, 1 on a portal. And then we can complete the water temple as well. So let's go ahead and shuffle. Day 3, we're going to shuffle the movement cards. What we want to do is... How are we looking? Quest is really where we make the bulk of our results. And to get 10 quests, you have to do a movement, and you have to get a lot. We've got 5 so far. We're actually doing very well in terms of quests. We still want to get a movement 1. For this movement 1, we can either go for the ones where it's on the coast, in which case we'll increase health and power, or we can go for the temple, obelisk, and portal. Which really would be... Oh, and I forgot... I always forget the goblin thing. The goblin thing is a little annoying. We have to move this back to here. So the passive goblin growth, we have to flip 3 passive goblins. We don't have 3. We have 2. So these 2 will both get flipped. Then we add, and this is very important because otherwise one of these would have gotten flipped. So these are both passive. So part of me feels like I should go after one of the goblins. I should continue to knock them out. I should go for a spell, and I should go for a temple. I think I should do all 3. I kind of want to get this this one taken care of, because right now they are not looking good. The sword one, you can't advance it more than once per round. So if I want to get the sword at some point, I'm going to have to advance that, get that that one. I've got by ship, so technically I can move by ship and go ahead and get that one up there. I will pass through here. That will cost me 1 power to pass through there. I could start off using the horse one, but use the cane to allow me to move there instead. So this will allow me to move by foot. That will cause that goblin to then flip over from aggressive to passive. Yeah. So we're going to do that. We're going to take the cane one. We're going to use the by horse movement. You should probably be flipped over. That's going to give us by ship and by foot. And we're going to go ahead and move them there. And that's going to, because they are landing on the card with the aggressive, that flips to passive, and we don't have to worry about using a power. I am still going to need to use 1 more power, because essentially I'm passing along all the ones that are on the ship route, and I'm not going to be able to do much with that. And that's going to be the one, this person here. So we're going to use by ship to get them to move. Let's think about this for a moment. I could move this person here to deal 1 damage to the goblin that hero is attacking. So they'll get 1 damage to start off with. Then use its griffin power to go diagonally and avoid that aggressive goblin up there. The last thing I need to do is I need to get this spell person to either here, which is going to require 2 movements no matter what, to the bear, which is going to require horizontal movement to here, and I don't know if I have that. I've got raft as my next one. That'll allow me to move along the river. And then that leaves by griffin, which will allow diagonal movement. I could do by... I'll still have... Oh, no, wait. I'll still have the by ship, and I can move this way. I'll have to pass through at least 1 angry goblin. So it doesn't really make much difference either way. So if I do this, then the diagonal movement, at least I'll get to do 1 damage. Otherwise, yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do by foot, but I'm going to use the griffin by foot, and I'm just going to move this up 1. That will deal 1 damage to this hero, to this goblin. I'm going to get the by raft and by ship. I'll use the by raft to go this way, because he's already got the griffin thing. And then I'm going to use gender pronouns for this last one. She. This is a she. We'll use the by ship and go all the way over. We might as well go for the gusto here and grab that one. That'll require me to get all the way up to 3. I'm going to go for the dolphin. I'm not going to go for the gusto. We have to use 1 power to deal with that aggressive, but that does flip it back over to its passive side. All right. So now we've completed that. We're on the night phase. We'll go ahead and get started here. We did complete this quest. We have all 3 heroes on separate map cards, none of which may be our castle. Oh, that's on the coast. And this is on a temple, obelisk, and portal. So I can complete either one of these. I will take this one, because this will give me 2 power and 2 health, and I could use both of those. Power is supposed to be this plus 3 plus spell level, so I'm actually supposed to be 1 higher on this, so that actually does allow me to get full strength. So there we go. Sorry. I find keeping track of the max health and max power really kind of wonky. And we also deal a new quest. All right, so first up, we have a lot of mushrooms. We're going straight to, holy crap, that's a lot of mushrooms. We're also going to get one torch and one scroll. So this person will go up by one. We've not done any additional damage yet to that. And we have not yet gotten to, we need two. We need to get up to the two. So we're only 4 away from that. And we'll be able to use some power to advance the, advance that, which will be nice. All right, so we're still on the first level though. So we get to ignore damage. The first bit of damage. If there were 2, we'd have to take the second one. And the rest of these can be dealt with in order. So we're going to get 1 torch. We ignore the scroll. We fight the goblin twice. Okay. This is all gravy. So this is going to be 2 to advance it by 1. We ignore the scroll, and we defeat... We're almost at the point where we defeated the goblin. And we get 1 more torch, and the question is, do I want to use 2 power to knock out that last... I think I do. I think I do. So that is now completed. We'll go ahead and advance that by 1. Oh, wow, that's really good. So we don't get any new magic, but we do get some power back to go by 1. We're going to get 1 more torch, which is no longer any good. We defeat the goblin. That goblin is dead. We go up by 1 there. They return to the castle, and I'll go ahead and get 1 health for that to restore me to that. And now the question is, if I wanted to, I could just use 1 power for every to generate 4 mushrooms. And that would automatically get me the spell. The thing is, I feel like that is a bad use of power. Now I would go from 5 to 1, and while I would get 2 power returning both heroes to the castle, I don't think that that's a good idea. So we're going to go ahead and do this. We do get 1 power back. We do get 1 mushroom. And these are useless. So now we're at the point where damage will start to become an issue. Now, however, I could get away with doing 3 power instead. But we're going to press our luck here. We're going to see how this roll goes. So first damage, we actually do get to, we have to take that damage. We'll go up 1 more in terms of mushroom, and we'll have 2 scrolls and a punch that does nothing. So now I think we're going to go ahead and use, during the night, the equipped hero conjures +1 for every power spent. We'll use 2 power, conjure 2 mushrooms, and that is the dolphin spell, because we have the +1 from the book. So that is 1, 2, and 3. So now we return the heroes to the castle. So the hero will return here. They're up to dolphin. The hero will return here. We have completed that quest. That really, all that did was move the sword up by 1. We get 2 more power, or 1 health, 1 power. We'll go ahead and take the power. I think the power is probably the more important thing. We've completed 3 goblins. We did not complete any additional quests here. We did have them on the hero temple and obelisk while we were doing that. I don't know if you can complete movement quests during the night. So yeah, as soon as the night phase started, I should have taken this, and I can gain 3 of 1, and I'll go ahead and gain it in health. So that would go like that. That would have replaced this, and now we're going to get rid of this and give ourselves a new quest. It is movement, so we have to ignore this. We discard, if we pull a 3rd movement or 3rd temple, we discard it and instead pull a different card. That's going to give us that, which is kind of a bummer because we just completed that one. We move on to day 4. We're doing okay. We kind of want to go, I think we got to go for this spell here. We also have to flip 3 of these goblins. and add one more goblin to the empty portal. So let's look at where our score is right now. For 3 goblins, we're going to get 6 points. For 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 quests we've completed, we're going to get 16 points, or a 22. And then our spell is on 6, so that is 28. We still need 22 points more to go. So yay. So this is going to be difficult. To defend the island region, you have to have all 3 of your heroes on separate cards on the inland region, which is just, it's tough to really work with that. You can also have your diagonals on a diagonal line. All 3 of your heroes on a diagonal line, that would help because you could do that. To complete these quests, I'm going to need the fire one, which is here, which is actually a pretty good one to go for, to be honest. We have to get the water one, which is all the way over here, and that's kind of a pain in the butt. However, if we did the ship route, we'd go all the way around. Let's go ahead and shuffle these. We'll move the mushroom icon back. 1 hour, 24 minutes, but that is with some extra time in there because I took a phone call and did some other stuff. We looked up some rules. All right, so we're going to get a griffin and we're going to get a ship to start off with. Think about what we want to do here. We want that. We want that. We could go for the eagle instead. The eagle is where? The eagle is right up here. The eagle does not help us get the diagonal. Not in the slightest. We could fight a goblin. So let's say this is what we're going to do. We're going to go for this. We're going to go for one of these 3 goblins, and we're going to go for this card. Our intermediary step would be just simply get it onto one of these other 3 cards. Now, part of the problem is that you can't really get from here to here that easily. That's going to require 2 movements, no matter what. If we were to go to here, that doesn't really work either. I also don't get to move. Yeah, so I don't think there's a way to get this tempo, this fire thing, either of these 2 spells, and a goblin, and complete that. If I tried for the diagonal, none of them may be my castle. But what I could do is this, this, and this to get the diagonal. And then move this person here, this person here. No. Yeah, this person here to get this quest right here. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I've got Griffin and ship right now. So I can use the ship one. One of these 2 has to be the one that moves. And I want this one to be the one that ends up on the spell. So let's go around the coast to that spot. That's going to be my buy ship. I've got horse and griffin. Horse is going to allow me to get here. I will have to spend a power to pass through that. And then I'll want to move there, so that'll be foot distance. It doesn't really matter which one of these it is. We will move there. I think if I'm going to move all the way here, sorry, just thinking for a moment. I have to get them here so that I have the diagonal. So never mind. That's got to be here. And I don't think that kicks in when you're an opponent. You can't rest at your opponent's castle. But, and I could be wrong on that. But I am at max anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So that was the buy horse. And I passed through an aggressive goblin. That will calm this goblin down. However, it used 1 power. Then I've got buy raft and buy griffin. I will go ahead and use the buy... I'm going to go ahead and use the buy raft one. Actually, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to use the buy griffin one. That will allow me to move to here to fight a goblin. That will calm that down without having to use a power. And then finally, I'm going to have... I complete the diagonal one. So if I had 3 heart to gain, I could gain it. But I don't. And then this one simply has to move here, but because they've got the cane, they will move via foot to there. We got a new quest there, and... Oh, look at that. That would have been good. That would have been really good. Had I seen that before moving. I don't think it would have made any difference. I would not have shot for this last one here. Like, passed up my shot for that. Let's see. Let's go ahead and start the night phase. So first of all, we're at the lowest level, so damage gets ignored, the first one bit of damage. We do gain 1 power back for the taming of the aggressive goblin. We don't do anything with torches this round, but we do get 2 scrolls. So we do that. Let's see. We've got 1 damage that we get to ignore, fortunately. We get moved 1 up on the power track. We've got to get all the way to the 3, by the way, for this to kick in. So that is going to be fun. We've got 1 damage that we do to the goblin. We can choose to use 2 power now, and I think I'm going to do that. We're still fairly early on, and I will probably make that power back to move that up by 1. Let's see. We're going to go ahead and roll here. We can ignore the first damage. We do get 1 mushroom. So we're starting to run out of time on the first track there. But we had 1 scroll, and I'm not going to use it. I'm not going to do the power thing again. No damage. We do get 2 power back, which is good. So now we're at max damage, or max power. We don't do anything with the torch, but we do take 2 scrolls, and we've completed the water quest, which is great, because that means that we're going to get our sword for this last round. We ignore that first damage. We would restore 2 power if we could. We don't do anything with the scrolls because that is completed. We're done. It can ignore 1 damage. We do take the other damage. I'm going to go ahead and take it. I'm so high up on health. I don't think it's really helpful to ignore that. We don't do anything with the power because we're at full power. And we do 2 damage. So we're at 1, 2, 3. Is that right? We started here. We did 1 and then 2 more. Sorry. This should be like that. 2 more to go. We have 2 more damage to go. 2 more damage, and then we can try to max out that mushroom thing. All right. So we ignore 1. We're going to go ahead and use 2 power to block that other damage because we're getting 1 power back. 2 scrolls, and those get ignored. Continuing to adventure on. We don't do anything with any of these because we're at full... Oh, we get 1 power back, sorry. So now we can ignore those. We get 2 more of these, so we defeat the goblin automatically. Our health goes up to 10. They return to the castle, having defeated a goblin. And they get to go up by 1. Now we're just focused on advancing the mushroom track. Alright, so I get 1 power, except I'm at max power. I got 1 mushroom, so they will go there. I am 6 away from getting into there. I have 6 power that I could use. I could just use all 6 power and automatically be done with the mushrooms. But I am going to try to see what I can do with the next few rounds. So, I don't do anything with the power. I don't know if I can activate this before spending dice. During the night, the equipped hero conjures +1 mushrooms for each hero for energy spent. If I do that, then I only get 1 of those power back. So I think I'm going to not do that. We're going to go up by 1. 5 more to go. Now we do take a damage. I'm not going to use power to block. First power gets ignored. Now we get 2 damage. The second one gets ignored. The first one we take. We do get 1 more. We don't get anything for that power because it's... And then we go up by 1. We are now 4 away. I could use 4 power and just automatically blast this out of the water. Where am I supposed to be in terms of power? It's 1 plus... It's 3 plus spell level. I'm supposed to be on power 9. Again, trying to keep track of that is like the most confusing thing. I take 1 damage. I ignore 1 power, the first power. We are, however, up by 1. We have 3 more to go. I'm going to roll and see how I do on here. Otherwise, I'm just going to use a bunch of power to finish this off. So that's good. The scrolls and the punches get ignored. The mushrooms go up by 1. We're now 2 away. We'll do 1 more roll. Try to conserve our power. Hope for the dice. The dice have come through for us. 1 punch and 2 torches get ignored. 2 more mushrooms. We are at 3. We have completed spells. All right, now we can rest. They will return here. We have completed our spell thing. We are now at max power, so we'll just go ahead and move that there. We also get 1 power or 1 health and 1 health or 2 of each, or 2 of one of the other. I'll go up and go 1 of each because this person's coming back to the castle as well. We've completed the night phase. We've completed the goblin. We're going to go ahead and give this to the one with the flute. And we have completed no quests here for our temples. There's nothing there. We have to reset the mushroom, reset the round counter to 5. We have to flip over some goblins. I think that's all of the ones that we can flip. And we add 1 for the one that we defeated. All right, and this goes away. We're now in the last round. All right, so map the land is have all 3 heroes at least 3 map cards away from each other. Count map cards orthogonally. Have 2 cards on the center map and complete the fire temple. Fire temple is a must. We have to get that one. So let's think about what we can do here. So we can go for 1 more quest card here. We're not going to get either of these 2 movements, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8. So we're at 10 for... No, we're at 20 for our quests. We have defeated 4 goblin. That is going to be 8, so that's 28. And then for the spells, we're going to get 16. That's going to be 44. There's also a bonus if you complete your legendary set. If you complete your legendary set... Oh, legendary items, 4 for each. So, what did I say? We're at 44. Oh, we beat the 50. We don't really need to worry about beating the 50 anymore. We're at 8 for goblins, 20 for quests, that's 28. 16 for spells, that's 44. We have 2 of our magic items, that's another 8 for 52. I'd like to go for 60. I'd like to try to get to the maximum point possible. To do that, we're going to need at least 1 more quest. That'll go to bring us up 5 more points, and then one more item, legendary item, that will bring us up by 1 more as well. So, we want this fire temple. That will give us a quest, that will give us a legendary item, and that's all we need to worry about. So, let's go ahead and shuffle these up and not give a rat's ass about anything else other than getting to that thing. Part of the problem is trying to get to that thing. That's going to be a pain in the butt to get to. All right, so we've got by foot and by griffin. So I think what we're going to do, since none of these really help us with advancing the temple, we're going to take our griffin here, our guy who can always move by foot. We're going to move them there. We're going to put them in the attack a goblin. Actually, no, we'll do this. We'll do this. Have them attack a goblin. All right, that'll be... They could have just moved that by either one, but we'll take away the by griffin because that's the least effective of them. By raft, by foot. So this person, I think what we want to do is we want to move this person by foot as well. To here. This makes this passive. And we get to deal 1 damage to the goblin. So this should have been like this, and now they're like this. And that was by raft. We now have by horse. We can still move this one by foot to here, which we will do. But we will use the by horse one to get that out of the way. Because we can use that cane to be moved by foot always, and now they're on the temple track. Last one is by ship and by foot. We're going to use by foot to travel to here. That makes this goblin passive. Advance 1 hero, 1 space on the temple track. And that's it. Now, at no point did we have any of these come to play. So those don't count. I was thinking that I would try to get that last quest of 2 heroes on the center map card, but I think it made more sense to go that way so that we get the additional damage. Probably not. Yeah, I'm probably really stupid on that. Would have advanced the spell token 1 butterfly, but we're already at max, so it doesn't really matter. Alright, so we need to fight a goblin and complete... We really need scrolls, is what we need. So we ignore the 1 damage, and we got scrolls up the wazoo. Look at that. 3 scrolls. There we go. We also do 1 damage. And with this, we can also go ahead and use Knight power to add goblin punches. Use the sword for what it was meant for. We need 3 more goblins and 2 more scrolls. We got a bunch of torches that do us no good, but we did complete the scrolls. That is done. We will complete that. We now just need punches. Which, honestly, I'm not sure why I'm even bothering with the rest of this. This will move up by 1. This will give me 3 more power to move to there. And I will go ahead and spend 3 of those power on punches. Punching the goblin, as they like to say. That knocks out the goblin. We've killed 1 more goblin. Our health is already at max. We can't raise that health anymore. They return to the castle victorious. We go ahead and that's 1 more goblin there. We are finished with all the other ones, so we can go ahead and do that. We've completed this quest for the fire temple. That gives us the lantern, which will do us no good at this point because we're done with the game at, good lord, almost 1 3/4 hours. We'll go ahead and give the 1 last spot for anything on here, so we'll go ahead and give them the lamp, which would allow a person on a temple to spend just 1 power instead of 2 to advance, which is nice. These guys all come back to the castle. I think we go up by... I don't think I took the credit for the goblin one, but it doesn't really matter. We have completed this. Quick look at our score. We get 4 for every legendary item, so that's... We got all the legendary items because we did complete this as well. This just... We can't put it anywhere because it's in there. We did complete the fire. So... We're now at all 4 legendary items. That's 12. We have defeated 5 goblins. That is 12 as well, so that's 24. We're at max level for spell. That's 16. That brings us to 40. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is 25 there. That's 65 total. That is over and above what we needed for the maximum level of this little doohickey here. That is hero or legend, as you can see there. That might be backwards. I just realized, so let's do it here. There we go, hero and legend. I'm using Streamlabs for this, so I have no idea how fuzzy everything is over here. So hopefully it's not too bad. that was a long game. There were 2 breaks in there that I had to deal with some other stuff. I had to look up something in the instructions. I had to take a phone call. Still a very long game. It's one of the things that I do not like about this one. It is also a huge game in terms of footprint. You can see here, like, this is taking up almost my entire table compared to some of the other ones, which, like, you can play in this little area here. Let's go ahead and start putting this back, though. All right, so because it is important that each one of these have some sort of putting away sequence. So we've got the little baggie here for the max health. And also I really want to bring in those organizational dollars. Those people who like watching organization of board games. I'm just a rookie at these. I still have blank plastic bags. I don't have any broken token organizers. I don't have anything like that. It's all just plastic baggies and throw it in the goddamn box and be done with it. So these will be for my people. And I'll take these off. I do like the way that this game is set up like this. With the meeples, with the little add-ons. It can be a little frustrating to get these little pieces off. I'm always worried I'm going to break one because they are so tiny and fragile. But it is a good way to remember who's got like what powers and so on. Normally, if you didn't know what the powers did, you would keep the cards arranged in the bottom below your player card. If you weren't worried about filming and how much space that was going to take. So now we can throw in shield, staff, and sword all right in here. There we go. There we go. There we go. These all get added back onto the little item rack. Go ahead and put the lantern down there. Lantern's got a weird peg on it, and I think it's simply because so that it makes it look like the lantern is hanging from its handle, whereas everything else you'd grip from much higher on. So that's that. We're going to take the little mushroom and elf head. Those are going to go in there. I almost forgot, in this little baggie, we're going to go ahead and put that. This, I think I was using for goblins. So goblins are going to go back in here. I like the mechanic with the goblins. I always feel like I'm playing them wrong. I always feel like I'm doing something wrong when it comes to remembering, oh wait, did I remember to flip that? Did I remember to lose power because I passed through it? Am I counting it correctly when I pass through? All right, so let's see. Let's take a look in here. We're going to take those out for a moment. We're going to add these in. And again, the important thing to remember is that each of the players do have different arrangements for the temples in terms of which temples they have to defeat. So, for example, this one is, you have to do death and then fire. I'm not sure what the actual names are, and this one's fire and death, but the fire and deaths on the other ones are in different places. And it gives a nice sort of varied feel to the way that the game is constructed. It means that every game is going to feel different in terms of arrangement. It's not going to feel that different. It's going to be slightly harder to do some things based on where they are. There is also a Gloomfall version of this. Basically, these are darker versions of the things, and so they're more difficult. So, for example, you can see on the temples, you have one more step that requires 2, as opposed to the other ones. The goblins, defeating the goblins, I think is the same. And I'm not sure about the spell icons, but basically it's harder to do each of these. And obviously multiplayer is different as well. It changes how you approach some of this. Rest, adventure. Let's go ahead and put this back. This is the round tracker, magic tracker. We'll do the adventure cards here. We'll do the movement cards here. The quests are all kind of neat. I like the artwork in this. I like the writing in this. I think that the game is really well designed. It's pretty to look at. It's nice to look at. Ultimately, I do feel like it is a bit of a longer game than I'm hoping for. That's going to go in there. That's going to go in there. I'm just going to leave the dice loose on this side. Go ahead and line that up there. Let's do goblins because they can lay flatter. We'll do the meeples there. Put the rest of these in like that, just any which way. Some of you are getting angina, I know, from watching me put this game away. You're like, what the hell are you doing? game goes like that. And that's it. And that's what we were using for the dice. Sorry. All right, and that's it. That is Tiny Epic Quest. Thank you for joining me. This is the end of the first week of gaming. Do remember, I also do a puzzle magazine every 2 months, Panda Magazine, and that goes out tomorrow at pandamagazine.com. This concludes our first week of themes. The first theme week, of course, being smaller games. We did 5 button shy games, all of which are wallet games. Did the first 2 of the Tiny Epics. Tomorrow we'll do Tiny Epic Zombies, and that will start Zombie Week. Because that theme hasn't been done to death. And so I'm looking forward to doing Zombie Dice. I'm looking forward to doing Hit Z Road, which is one of my favorite zombie games, because of the way that it's written. And then we've got a couple other ones coming up. Zombicide will be in there. And then we'll take it from there. As always, please leave comments about things that I messed up, mistakes I made, things that you might have done better. Obviously, 65 is not an easy score to want to beat. You probably could have beaten it, but it's kind of hard to want to beat it. Please leave those comments in the comments below. Click like, click subscribe, and click the bell icon for more notifications from this channel. I will also start doing puzzle videos probably sometime in the next over this next month about different puzzle topics, because that is actually my bread and butter. This is just a nice, stupid, ill-advised, and stupid journey that I'm on, and I'm going to trademark that slogan so I can use it in the future. For now, ciao everybody, and I will see you later.